We're giving it 5 days, and then we're going to see where that takes us. And I would say at the end of this period, I think it could very well end up being a very good deal for everybody, as good as if we went all the way and just literally annihilated the place, which if we don't have to do that, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing.
President Trump directing the Department of War to postpone strikes on Iran's energy sites for 5 days. That deadline is Friday, over what he says are productive talks toward a resolution with the regime. I spoke with the president yesterday here during the show, and he told me Iran wants a deal badly. Meanwhile, thousands of U.S. Marines are reportedly set to arrive in the Middle East this Friday. That's the day the president's deadline is set for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, get traffic moving and oil prices lower. GOP lawmakers, meanwhile, are discussing that $200 billion Pentagon ask for the Iran conflict and whether or not they should attach the defense funding to a reconciliation package, also now being spoken about. Joining me now is Iowa Senator Joni Ernst, a member of the Senate Armed Services and Homeland Security Committees. Senator, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. And you served as a company commander in Kuwait and Iraq and retired as a lieutenant colonel in the Iowa Army National Guard after 23 years of service. I want to thank you for your great service to this great nation. What are your thoughts on the status of this war today?
Yes, absolutely. This is a noble mission, Maria. Thank you so much. And Iowa has lost significantly in this conflict. That first strike coming from Iran did kill a number of our Iowa soldiers and those assigned to a unit located in Des Moines, Iowa. So we are feeling the pain. But the reassurance is there that this action will make the United States that much safer. We will be able to protect our people as they travel abroad from the threat of those Iranian terrorist proxies, as well as our citizens here in the homeland. So again, it is a noble mission. I do hope that President Trump completes this mission and we will end up with a more stable and peaceful and prosperous Middle East.
Well, in order to complete the job, the Pentagon says it needs $200 billion. Are you poised to support that?
I think it's really important, Maria, that those representing the Pentagon and the pocketbook come together and we discuss what exactly that $200 billion would go towards. Will it be towards munitions? Will it be to additional platforms? All of that needs to be laid out for us. And I think if they present a convincing argument, absolutely. Of course, I am one that would be likely to support a package like that. But we do have to have the specifics on where that money is going to go.
And what's your take on a potential reconciliation package before the midterm elections, Senator?
Well, I absolutely would love to see another reconciliation package. I do think this is important, and I think we have a number of Republicans on board with that.
Well, I just spoke with Congressman Andy Barr, and he made an interesting point to me. Now, when I spoke with Mike Lee about the SAVE Act on Sunday, he told me, well, we couldn't put the SAVE Act in a potential reconciliation package because it's not a budgetary item.
Right.
But Andy Barr was with me, and he actually convinced me otherwise. Watch this.
We do need to use the tool of reconciliation for all of these issues, I think. I think we do have the makings of a potential deal to fund partial DHS. But, Maria, this is...
But you can't put the Save America Act into the reconciliation plan, can
you would have to recast it. You would have to change it and make it into a budgetary issue.
How do you do that?
Well, it would obviously relate to funding of states to implement the provisions.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe there is a way.
I think there's potential ways to get creative with it, and if there is a way, we should pursue the Save America Act. But we need to put the Democrats on record.
I mean, Senator, if your colleagues on the left refuse to institute proof of citizenship for people to vote, then is there an argument to be made that if you're going to be giving, you'll be giving money to states to institute secure elections, maybe it becomes a budget item? What do you think?
It sure could be, Maria, and that is an interesting take on it. And if you hear part of the argument coming from the Democrats as well is, oh, people can't afford to go through the process and get these IDs, blah, blah, all the same old excuses. Well, what if the federal government was to fund a voter ID for them, a government-issued ID? So there's a number of ways that we can be creative with this, and I'm willing to explore those opportunities. priorities, because I think this is that important.
Yeah, you're not going to get it done if not. But let me get your take on the other big news of the morning, and that's Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen confirmed to lead the Department of Homeland Security, a 54-45 vote last night. When are you expecting him to be sworn in?
Well, hopefully very soon, if not today, very, very soon after. So I know the president is anxious to get Senator Mullen, now Secretary Mullen, into place, and we are anxious to see this as well. We know that he is key when it comes to the negotiations for DHS funding. We must end this impasse. We must make sure that we are funding those that are out there on the front lines protecting our homeland.
Well, it's incredible because you're not getting any support to do so from the Democrats. So how do you break that logjam? Let's say he's sworn in today at 1:30 is what Ashley is telling me, that it will be today, and we're watching that. Is he going to be able to move the needle in terms of opening up the department?
I do think so, and I think there have been some productive talks in the last day or so moving toward ending that impasse. I think the Democrats are feeling the heat. Obviously, we want to make sure that the men and women that are working within the structure of DHS are being paid. It is incredibly important. Our TSA agents are seeing those paychecks, our Coast Guard and so forth. So I do think we are moving in the right direction. I do think that Secretary Mullen will be key to this. He is someone who has worked across the aisle many, many times, and we've seen excellent results coming from his discussions, whether it was here in the Senate or the work that he has done with the House and the White House.
Senator, it's great to have you this morning. We'll be watching your work. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Maria.
Joni Ernst on Capitol Hill. We'll be right back.